Okay, what do they want? They want the equation. Find the equation. So maybe we should start with the steps, actually. How do we, let me write it out for you again. How do you find an equation? What is step number 1? Didn't I write it on the board last night or something? So find the slope, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, if not given. Because sometimes they just give you the slope. Silver platter, they just hand it to you, right? And then we write slope equals y minus blank over x minus blank. Like that. And then step 3 is cross multiply. Okay. So there's the 3 steps. Can we do that on this particular problem? 4, 3, negative 2, negative 2. So we did this.
You already get the slope here?
So this is x1, y1,
Here, slope.
x2, y2, right? It just stands for first points, x and y values, second points, x and y values. We good? Is that making sense? How are we? Are we happy about this? It's all good? And then slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Right? So that's going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Is that good? So keep going. Negative 5 over negative 6. 5/6? Because 2 negatives make positive? We good? How good are we? Is that good? That making sense there for that slope? Now, you write the slope formula again, huh? Or you just write slope equals, but this time it's a little different. Just y minus blank, x minus blank, huh? Right, the second time, so we're using the slope formula twice. The first time with the 4 numbers we plugged in, but the second time with the blanks in the back. How are we doing? Is that good? And then what do we put at the back? Either the first 2 or the second 2. It doesn't matter at all. Just do whichever 2 you want. Surprisingly, it'll work out the same either way. So I'm probably just going to use the 4 and the 3 and put them in the back. And then the slope we found, the 5/6, that'll go over here, won't it? So put that in. Let's finish this one up. So we're going to take the numbers. I'm going to take the 4 and the 3 and put them in the back. So the 4 is an x value. So that's going to go in the back of x. And the 3 is a y. Goes in the back of y. And the slope, 5/6, goes over here on the left. Good to there? And then we go diagonal, diagonal, and we cross multiply. Boom, boom. Bring it up here. So we get 5 times x minus 4, 6 times y minus 3. Is that going okay? Okay, diagonal, diagonal, like that. Everything good there? And then this 5 will distribute. Oh, I didn't tell you how they want the answer because they kind of change their mind on different problems. Well, it's not entirely fair. Basically, on this one they want x and y on the left, numbers on the right. See that? We've done a couple like that, haven't we?
They want a standard.
Because sometimes they want standard. Sometimes they want y alone. Like the first few, I think they wanted y alone. And then Now they want x's, y's, numbers. See how they tell you the format with the ax, b, y, c. See what they want? So they want x's first, then y's, then numbers on the right. So remember what we do to get that? We go back to our problem and say, okay, they want x's first. We got that. And then they want y's coming next. So how do I get that? How do I get the y's coming next?
Just jump it.
Yeah, you jump it, huh? You grab that 6y and you jump it to the other side. What happens when they jump over?
Switch signs.
Switch the signs, right? Just switch the signs, yeah. So grab that 6y, jump it this way, and then the negative 20 needs to go over there and become a regular positive 20, huh? You good? So we get 5x minus 6y, positive 20 minus 18. So that's 5x minus 6y is 2. How are we doing? Good? Questions? We're even close to being done with this section. You know, after this, we only have one more section, which I think we're going to try to get through tonight. We'll see how we do. And then one more after that, and we're ready for our third exam already, which is week after next on Tuesday. All right. Okay. Find an equation. 13 says, find an equation of the line described. Okay. So they give me, it's got undefined slope. That's weird, isn't it? What does that mean? They're not telling us?
That's nothing there.
See it? See right there? They say undefined slope. What does that mean? Yeah, is it 0? Yeah, maybe it's 0. Undefined slope, and then they're giving me this point. What's an undefined slope?
They don't tell you this.
Is it 0?
Well, you use the formula.
What's that? X equals C. Yeah, that's right. But why? All right. Well, basically what it means, undefined slope. There's two kinds of slopes that you want to be aware of. Undefined slope. Two weird slopes, I should say. Undefined slope. What that means is a line that goes straight up and down. Versus 0 slope. That's actually different. 0 slope is a line that's flat. Is this making sense, first off? Why would that be? Do you guys know where we get undefined from? What do we do in math that becomes undefined?
Oh, well, it's like a multiple answers.
Remember when we divide by 0? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Maybe not.
Yeah.
If I put 0, okay, let's go over here. If I put 0 in the top of a fraction, what does that equal? If I said, hey, last night I had 0/3 of the pie.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Yeah, that's just a weird way to say you didn't have any pie, huh? Right? 0 in the top is just 0. Okay, that we know. But what if you put the 0 in the bottom? What does that mean? What is 3 divided by 0? What's that?
0 is the point.
Well, let's think about what a fraction really is, right? If I said I had 1/3 of the pie, you all know what that means. That means the pie was cut into 3 pieces. I ate one of them, right? Let's just be real. Let's just be as real as we possibly. Math is made up to fit reality, right? Is math real?
Yes.
No?
As far as we know.
What'd you say?
As far as we know, yeah, it's real.
As far as we know, it's real. It is. To what is this? What's the bottom? It's how many you cut it into, right? Like 1/3 means you cut the pie in 3 pieces and you ate one of them. So you cut the pie in 0 pieces and ate 3 of them.
There's no pie, so 3 of the whole pie?
Yeah, that's craziness. Do you see that? This isn't just 0. This is wacko. Do you see that? It's not just 0, it's nuts. You can't do that. You can't cut a pie into 0 pieces and then eat 3 of them. That can't happen. How do you cut something into 0 pieces? Now you might think don't touch it, but you don't touch it, the pie's 1 piece. You can't make it no pieces. There's no way to do that. Unless it's gone. I mean, if it's there, it's 1 piece. If you cut it, now it's 2. You cut it again, it's 4. I mean, how are you going to cut it into 0? You can't do that. See how this is not just 0. This is craziness. Right? So, 0 in the bottom of a fraction. We never let that happen. Whenever there's 0 in the bottom of a fraction, that doesn't equal 0. This one does. 0 on the top just equals 0. But 0 in the bottom is crazy. No, we don't write crazy. But what we write is undefined. Meaning there's nothing in the real world that does that. There's no definition in the real world for that. You can't do that in the real world. And so 0 underneath. So here's a map. I haven't given all that reason. Here's a real life way to do it. Underneath is undefined. Underneath is undefined. There's under, if that helps. So when 0 is underneath, that's undefined.
So the other one, 0 over 3, is not undefined?
Right, because you can say I cut the pie into 3 pieces.
You have a number
And I had none of them.
0
Okay.
You can do that.
undefined.
It's just called having no pie.
Yeah.
Right? You with me? But this you can't do. You can't cut a pie in 0 pieces. Everybody see that? So we say undefined. So what happened over 25 years teaching math, what I've seen students do is they kind of blur these two in their minds. And they think undefined, I guess that's kind of like 0. Don't do that. That's a completely wrong thought. Undefined is way different than 0. Undefined is craziness. 0, 0. Does that make sense? Carlos?
So if you cut a pie into 0 pieces, that means it's still a whole pie.
I wouldn't agree with that statement. If you cut a pie 0 pieces, it's a whole pie. Oh, you're trying to say you don't cut it.
And
But
if you cut a pie into 0 pieces, your pie's still whole.
but then it's 1 piece.
Oh,
Right? Like Apple Pencil here is not cut. How many pieces is it? Not 0. How can I cut it into 0? Yeah.
0 of a pie.
Yeah. You can't cut something into 0 pieces. It's impossible. Does that make sense? And the other way, one other thing. I know we're spending a long time on this, but my goal would be that you would see that and really, because they're going to push you on this. This is going to come up again. And then the next one as well, the next Math 63, and you want to know it cold. 0 underneath is undefined. It's not 0. That's the mistake everybody thinks, oh, that's just 0. But they're not seeing the difference between those two. So also, just think about this with a fraction. If I take 10 divided by 2, what is that? 5, right? Because the bottom, the 2, goes into 10 5 times. We all know that. A fraction's division, right? Okay, we'll try that with the 3 over 0. I'm going to try to show you one more reason why it's crazy. Try that with the 3 over 0. How many times does 0 go into 3?
Undefined.
Can you go in once? Is there 0 in there? There's 0 in there. Right? You with me? Like, how many times does 2 fit into 10? 5 times. How many zeros go in there? It goes in there forever. You with me on that? 0 goes into 3 forever. Forever. So it's infinity. Another way to say it, it's infinity. It's undefined. Oh, maybe did that make it worse? So a fraction is dividing. And dividing means bottom into top. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 0 can go into 3 forever. You can keep putting 0 in 3 forever. Right? It's infinite. That's why it's undefined. It's not a number. All right. So why am I going on and on and on about all that? Well, when they tell me, let me go back to the problem now. When they tell me undefined slope, which they did, right? Back here they said undefined slope. When you see under, you want to think under. What's under? 0 is under. And I don't even know what the number is up. I don't really care. But it's the slope. The slope must have a 0 underneath. That's my main point. I don't know if you've checked with all the pi and stuff, but let's get right to this point. If they say slope is undefined, you remember undefined is 0 underneath. So when you see that word, you think that means 0 underneath. Okay, so what? Well, then remember what slope is? It's always rise over run. Remember that? Remember how slope is always rise over run? So you tell me, what kind of a line doesn't run? No run. What is run? Sideways movement.
X.
What kind of a line doesn't go sideways? Well, a line that's perfectly straight up and down. Do you see why undefined slope, which means something over 0, and 0 is the rise over run. No run. That line does not go sideways. It just goes straight up and down, huh? It has no sideways movement to it. No run. No sideways movement. Is that too many connections? I'm trying to make several different connections in your mind. So you see undefined, think 0 underneath. Remember that slope is rise over run. So what kind of a line doesn't run, doesn't go sideways? A vertical line. Okay, so we're to here now. We know it's a vertical line, huh? Whereas over here, by the way, what if somebody tells me we have a 0 slope? That means 0 in the top. And remember, slope is rise over run. So what kind of line has no rise? Yeah, that's why no rise is a flat line like that, huh? That's why that's a flat line. See the difference? How are we doing? Am I beating this horse? This horse is dead, right? Are we good? All right. So what? So we know that we're looking at this kind of an equation, which means it just hits which axis? Which axis does this line hit? Here's the y, here's the x. Which axis is it hitting? X. So the whole thing is just going to be x equals a number. Whereas if you have this one over here, this one hits the y-axis, doesn't it? This one would be y equals a number. You tracking with me? Am I thoroughly confused you now? Let me connect the dots one more time. When they say undefined slope, I think 0 underneath. That's rise over run. No run. What kind of line is no run? No sideways movement. Right? Rises up and down, run is sideways. It's a straight vertical line, which means it hits the x-axis, so its equation is x equals a number. Did you connect those dots from here to there? It's got to have x, only x. So then we go back to the problem, we go, oh, this is just like x equals some number. That's all this is. Because undefined means 0 underneath, means it's a vertical line. So what do you think x equals? What do you think? Here's an x, here's a y. What do you think?
A.
It equals the x, doesn't it? It's A, yeah. Make sense? I know that was a long story. But I didn't want to just tell you 2 sentences. Well, it's just x, because that's just how it is. And then just move on. I want to try to give you all those reasons. That's why you're paying me, right? Give you all those reasons. Is that good? What's that?
I want to give you a deal.
That's right. Good on that? Is it all good? All right. Write the equation. How we doing? Slope equals y2. Whenever they don't give us the slope, we got to get ourselves a slope, don't we? So we got to go get ourselves a slope, right? So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So here we go. y2 minus y1, 0 minus 6 over x2 minus x1, 0 minus 7. Minus 6 over minus 7. 2 negatives. Positive, huh? Positive 6/7. Now what do? Now we write slope again. This time with the y, with the blanks, right? The y and the x and the blanks. Okay, and then we grab our 6/7 slope, put it in right there, and then grab the, now you can either use this pair or the second pair to put in the back of x and y. So which is going to be easier? The zeros for sure, huh? I'm going to put 0 and 0. And then the slope over there is going to be 6/7. Put the zeros back there. Y minus 0, x minus 0. And then what do we do from here? Diagonal, diagonal, huh? So bring it up here. What do we get? 6 times x minus nothing. 7 times y minus nothing. Distribute, distribute. 6x minus nothing. 7y minus nothing. 6x is 7y. We're all the way to there. And now look back at the question. They say right here they want y alone. See how I can tell that? They tell me to get y alone. They have y equals. They're writing y equals down there. So I say, okay, how do you get y alone here? Yeah, just divide by that 7. Boom. Y is alone. 6 sevenths x. Are we good? Questions I can answer? Is this making sense? This homework's okay? See if you can be careful with the minus signs there. So they're giving you a slope. Can you read? Let me make it a little bigger. Here, I'll write it bigger here for you. Slope equals minus 5 sevenths. And the point is minus 1 minus 5. All right, take it from there. Okay, so
This how you have it?
we good? We all getting this one now? So we're going to write slope equals y minus blank over x minus blank.
Becomes 5.
And I'm going to take the slope minus 5 sevenths, put it over here on the left side. Always put the negative on the top. Other side, I'm going to grab the x value and put it next to x, and the y value and put it next to y, like that. We good to there? And now we're going to go diagonal, diagonal. So cross multiply. Minus 5 times x plus 1, and 7 times y plus 5. Are we good? And now distribute. Minus 5x minus 5. Distribute. 7y plus 35. We good to there? So they want y alone, don't they? Let me bring it up here. Bring it up here. We have minus 5x minus 5 is 7y plus 35. And they want me to get y alone. So I'm subtracting 35 from both sides. And I get minus 5x minus 40 is 7y. Everybody see what I'm doing there? I'm working to get y alone, right? Y's got a 7 right next to him, which I'll get rid of last. And the 35, I subtract the 35 first. And then, what do I do to get rid of that 7? Divide. And whenever you divide how many? All 3 of them, huh? There it is. Y is alone. So how are we doing? We good on this?